Hello. So, today we're going to be talking about Research and Development Unit 5.8. Once again, HL only. So, let's get straight into it. What is actual research and development? Research and development is the process to create new products through investigating the unknown. All right, it is this idea of data analysis, gathering data, doing experiments, evaluations, all of this stuff to create new products, all right, while investigating what you don't know. So what is the purpose of R&D? All right, so the purpose of R&D is to first off provide continual advancement. Okay, if you are a business and you continuously research and develop, you're gonna avoid these diseconomies of scale of complacency because you're continuously trying to change, improve. All right, so it helps continual advancement. Secondly, it helps launch new products to satisfy customers. Okay, maybe if you're in a business where products get old very quick, research and development helps you keep getting better and better to keep satisfying customers. And third, it is vital for long-term success. Okay, in order to stay prominent for a very long time, in a lot of industries, you can't just do the same thing over and over again. It might not just be the changing the product; it might be the processes you do. All right. So even if you're bread, no one wants a new bread. Bread is bread. All right. But the process to make bread, you might still do research and development to get the most efficient way possible to actually make that bread. All right. So this is why research and development is important for every single business on earth. So when we talk about research and development, we have two types of industry that it applies to. We have a sunrise industry and a sunset industry, all right? So a sunrise industry is an industry that has enormous growth potential, all right? These are industries that are most likely new and are very much growing. So an example is when Teslas came out with the EVs, the electrical vehicles, the EV market went through this state of enormous growth, okay? So at that point, you could have considered it a sunrise industry, all right? And a sunset industry is just its opposite. It's an industry that is saturated, that is matured, and that has low growth potential. So if we link back to our Boston Consulting Group matrix, we can think that these cash cows and dogs would be in the sunset, whereas these question marks and stars will be in the sunrise, all right? So these are especially good, Now, as a HL student, these AO2 skills are something you need to embed in every single one of your answers. And these aspects, sunrise and sunset, are stuff you can apply to almost everything. Within the case study, it'll most likely or not, you'll be able to infer if it's a rising industry, like a growing industry or a not growing industry. And you can just use these terms, because it will never give you sunrise, sunset, all right? But if you use these terms, that is perfect at this analysis in context or application in context. Oh yeah, so that is the beginning of R&D. All right, this is the next part of research and development. We have this idea of intellectual property rights. Now, intellectual property is something that can come out of research and development, and it is this intangible assets that a business makes, or they have. So intellectual property can be maybe songs, it can be my logo, it can be some color that represents me, a brand, stuff like that, reputation. These are intangible assets. And so intellectual property rights is this legal protection of a business's intangible assets, made through its creativity and capital expenditure, So it says protection, because when you have intellectual property, unlike physical property, you have that physical right of protection where if someone steals it, they're committing a crime. So, as intellectual property has been created in our new world where intellectual property is very prominent, we've had to develop rights, to actually withhold and safeguard our intellectual property, So these are what we call intangible assets. This is what do you call it? The legal protection of businesses' intangible assets made through its creativity and expenditure. Now, when we look at intellectual properties rights, we have three forms: copyrights, patents, and trademarks. All right. So a copyright is giving the registered owners legal. It's a form. So every time you define, once again, you always define where it comes from. So a copyright is an form of intellectual property rights that give registered owners the legal rights to creative work, okay, of authors, musicians, directors. These are very directed towards creative works, all right? And then patents. This is the important one. This is something that people usually get a lot of the times because they forget one key part, all right? This is a form of intellectual property rights that give the official rights to a business to exploit an invention or process, okay, for commercial use, which expires after a period of time. This is a key aspect, okay? In the 2025 exams that came up, define patent, all right? And I was told by my teacher that since he marks these exams, almost everyone got 1 out of 2 because they forgot this crucial part. Every time you define patents, they are a form of intellectual property rights that give official rights to businesses to exploit an invention or process for commercial use, which expires after a period of time. This is the key part that differentiates it from a trademark, all right? So a trademark is the intellectual property rights that give owners exclusive control, exclusive like commercial use and control of these registered brand, logo, slogans, all right? And this exclusive control, once again, is that only they are able to use it. So these are the individual property rights. And just make sure you remember that this aspect is really important for patents, okay? And every time you define any of these three, say it's a form of intellectual property rights. But patents don't have to be intellectual property because you can have a patent on the physical product as well, okay? So it's not always intellectual property rights. So yeah. All right, now we're going to move on to innovation, all right? This is the last part of research and development. So innovation is kind of a process that occurs during the research and development that leads to this creation of a new product or anything, yeah? So it is the commercial creation of a new idea to fulfill existing customer needs or create unmet customer desires, all right? It's to create a desire customers didn't even know they had because your innovation is that far. Or you innovate to finally solve problems that people are having and they're not able to solve for so long. So when we look at innovation, we have two types of innovation. We have incremental and disruptive. Incremental innovation is this idea of adjusting, improving, and developing a product or process that already exists, okay? It is this it is incremental innovation because you are just adding a little bit, improving a little bit. So you have a product here and you're adjusting in increments, add a little bit here, a little bit here, a little idea there, okay? And to make a product that already exists a little bit better, okay? Developing, improving, and adjusting it. And why this is good is because it helps you retain customers, okay? Because once again, it avoids this complacency, diseconomies of scale because you're improving and you're getting better and customers are not getting bored of your products if you're in industries where products need to continuously get better. Secondly, it helps maintain and improve your competitive advantage. Maybe you had a unique selling point of being innovative and now now time is caught up and you've lost that. So incremental innovation will help you maintain and improve that competitive advantage. And it's a lot less costly than disruptive innovation or innovative creativity, as we will cover, is another way to say it. So disruptive innovation now is innovation that involves creating entirely new products, okay, or processes, all right? It is where you have this product here and just go, nah, I'm just making, I'll make a new product over here, okay? That is what disruptive innovation is, and incremental is like this, all right? Is the idea of adjusting, improving, and making it better, stuff like that. So this disruptive innovation, it is a lot higher risk, okay, because you're making something completely new. But this could help you access an entirely new market if you wanted to, and just solidifies your competitive advantages a lot more if it is successful. But that's a key point, if it is successful. If it's not successful, it's very bad for your business, creates a large opportunity cost, okay, and lots of redundant finances you have put on. So yeah, that is the entire R&D.